So let's have a look at some of the most famous paintings in the world. We can have a think about what we like or don't like about them, and also how they might make us feel. And remember, if you'd like to stop the video at any time to discuss the different paintings, you can. So let's begin with what many people consider to be the most famous piece of art in the world. What do you think the most famous painting in the world is? Well, in terms of being the most frequently searched piece of art on the internet and one of the most visited pieces of art, it must be the Mona Lisa. So it was painted at the start of the 16th century by the multi-skilled genius Leonardo da Vinci. And it's been displayed in the Louvre in Paris for the last 200 years. Have you ever been to see it for yourself? Well, over 30,000 people a day have gone to see it. What do you think of this painting? Now, she's famous for her mysterious smile, and critics notice that she seems to smile more when you look at her eyes instead of her mouth. If you look only at her mouth, she appears to be much more serious. It's quite an interesting effect. What do you think? Let's have a look at another piece of art. This is another piece by an Italian artist, and it was created about the same time as the Mona Lisa. Have you seen this one before? It's called The Creation of Adam, and it was painted by Michelangelo. And it forms part of a much larger piece of work based on the first book of the Bible. So where can you see this artwork? Where can you see The Creation of Adam by Michelangelo? Well, you can find this artwork on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel at the Vatican in Rome. Now, it's one of the most replicated religious paintings of all time. What do you think of it? Now, Michelangelo and his assistants used scaffolding to paint the ceiling of the chapel, and not surprisingly, it caused him severe backache. Now, the Sistine Chapel has been visited by 25,000 visitors a day, with staff constantly asking people to be quiet in the chapel, and the silence never lasts for very long. Let's have a look at another painting. So who was the artist who painted these sunflowers? Which artist painted a series of sunflowers like this? That's right, it was Vincent van Gogh. Now, his sunflowers are so popular with their bright colours. Do you like them? Let's hear a bit more about the artist's life from Colin Wiggins at the National Gallery.
Well, let's think about Vincent first of all and his biography. His story is so well known, we can whoosh through it. He's born in a little town called Nuenen in the Netherlands. His father is a Protestant pastor. He spent about the first 30 years of his life failing at everything. He was pretty old when he got started. The earliest painting that we have by Vincent in our collection comes from his first serious campaign of work. It's the one over in the corner there, the head of a peasant woman. He was getting on for 30 when he painted that picture. And that's quite old to have your artistic career starting. And 6 or 7 years later, he's gone. So his career is incredibly short. And I think it's as well to remind ourselves how short his working life was, especially when you compare him to other iconic artists in this collection like Turner or Michelangelo or Rembrandt or Titian particularly. Vincent is like a meteor, whoosh, and he's gone.
Now, Van Gogh certainly burned brightly, and he created some other dazzling and popular works of art, including Starry Night. So let's have a look at our next piece of art. Now these are water lilies painted by Claude Monet, and they formed part of a huge series that he painted in the last 30 years of his life, a total of over 250 oil paintings. Now these paintings are amongst the most recognised and popular works of art in the 20th century and were hugely influential to other upcoming artists. Now what type of art is this an example of? What school of art was Monet at the forefront of? That's right, Impressionism. In fact, the whole artistic movement of Impressionism took its name from one of his paintings. It's a more abstract way of representing objects. What do you think about this type of painting? Now, Monet gave a set of these water lily paintings to the French government as a symbol of peace at the end of the First World War. Now let's have a look at our final piece of artwork. So this is a famous example of the pop art movement in the 20th century, and it's of Campbell's soup cans. So which artist produced Campbell's soup cans? Who was responsible for producing this artwork? That's right, it was Andy Warhol, and these paintings were first exhibited in 1962 and featured each of the canned soup varieties that the company were making at the time. Now, it caused a huge controversy over whether this could truly be called art due to the commercial nature of its subject matter. What do you think? Do you think that it qualifies as being art? Now, I really like the bright colours and enjoy a lot of Andy Warhol's work. Campbell's Soup Company still exists and continues to produce some of these famous varieties of soup today. Well, I hope you enjoyed looking at and thinking about these 5 famous and very different pieces of art from the last 500 years with me.